everybody, time for another episode of the Sports Pilgrimage here on Stream City Radio and Stream City Sports. Find us at streamcity.org. Anyhow, we're going to take a look at a trip I took a few years ago. And if you are a real college football fan and you're not stuck on only hitting the big stages, the Michigans, the Texas A&Ms, the Georgias, the Alabamas of the world, I've got a great trip for you. And these are easy to find. They're there every year. Get you some action. And I know I just lost a bunch of people in the Southeast, but that's okay. Hang in there with me. These are fun trips. And if you love football, it gets you to a part of the country you might not normally go to. And it also, gets you it's just fun to get in there in a little bit smaller stadiums. Now, the only problem with action is you're dealing with Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, sometimes Thursday. So you're going to be dealing with a smaller crowd. The great part is great deals on tickets, and you can get down low and really feel like you're part of the festivities. Anyhow, so we did one a couple years ago, and been about 4 years ago now that we did this. It was actually the first one of these trips we did. I'd been talking about doing them for years and finally decided, we're doing it. So Carolyn and I flew up to Cleveland. I've got a cousin who lives just outside of Cleveland. Flew up on a Monday, and we had Akron playing on Tuesday night, Kent State playing on Wednesday night. So if you're familiar with the geography here, she's just kind of southeast of Cleveland, so you're right on line. It's like an hour drive down to Akron. So, and what else is in Akron? The Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you can tie that one in as well. It's in Canton, but you can throw a rock and have a good rock fight between those two cities. So anyhow, we flew in on Monday, spent a little time in Cleveland. If you are a music fan, you got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's right there in town. I am a huge music fan. I am not a huge fan of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, however, is because it's idiots that run it. But that's neither here nor there. So that's a great way to fill a day if you want to come in a day early. There's really some cool stuff to see in the city of Cleveland, a little undersold. But we went, spent some time running around, and my dad was actually born up there. So I'm a little familiar with it. And then Patty, living just outside Cleveland and growing up there, she's very familiar with it. So went around town, visited Tolly over in Little Italy. And let me tell you, that in itself is worth the trip to Cleveland. Go to Tolly, get you some of the spaghetti meatballs that they make as an appetizer. You'll thank me. You will. It doesn't get better. Those things are phenomenal. And so we had those, had a meal. Yes, it's a Tavern of Little Italy. Let me tell you, it doesn't have tavern food. This is fantastic, high-end Italian food. You will not be disappointed. I can promise you that. So that would be my suggestion. If you go to Cleveland, whether you're going for a day, a week, whatever, make your way over to Little Italy. It's a cool part of town anyhow. And get in Tolly's and have you some of those meatballs. You're going to love them. It in and of itself makes the trip to Cleveland worth it. And I'm not overselling this. This is fantastic. So we did that, spent Monday doing that. Tuesday morning we get up early, head down to Canton, spend a few hours at the Hall of Fame down there. And if you're a football fan, and I'm not a massive pro football fan, but I am a football fan. So to go in there and see it, that is money well spent as well. So we killed a couple hours there. And then when we got done with that, it was time. We're a couple hours away from kickoff at the game. So we decided we're going to find something to eat there in Akron. And we did, not far from the stadium. It's Lot 15 brewery and restaurant. Once again, food very, very good. And the beer was excellent. It's a great place if you just want to find a place to, crash, get some food, get a little beer in you, go off to the game. And it's a great place to start your evening. Now you can go in and tailgate. We figured Tuesday night, let's do this. And anytime I can find a good brew pub, I'm in. I'm in. So we went there. That was a good dinner. Like I said, the beer selection, being a brewery, was fantastic. And, not all breweries are created equal. I mean, I've been to some that the beer was ho-hum. That's not the case here. Very good beer. Great selection. And so if you love crafted beer, that's a good place for you to check out. So we go to the game, and it was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was freezing, folks. This was a Southern boy getting a good taste of what November football looks like in Ohio, but it was well worth it. And it was actually colder the next night, but the first night at Akron, it was windy, and it was cold. It was cold, but we had a good time, and it was a fantastic ball game. It was one of those ball games where you got what you wanted for. You had the home team with the ball with a chance to win it at the end. They do come up short, but still, I mean, that's all you're looking for in a ball game, especially if it's a ball game where you don't have a strong rooting interest. And as I've said in the past, we always go and pull for the home team unless I have a reason not to. In this particular game, I had no reason not to, so we pulled for the Zips in this one. And they do come up short, and they were playing Ball State. It was a really good football game. And, take the fact that it's a smaller school out of it. It doesn't really matter. It was still a great football game, very entertaining. And that's one of the things that you see a lot of. The Mid-America Conference, say what you want about it. Yes, it is maybe now become, if it's the weakest conference in the group of five. But one thing is they haven't had a lot of movement. They've had a little bit this year with Northern Illinois going to play in the Mountain West. And, of course, they went and got Sacramento State, which makes perfect sense geographically. I mean, why would you not? Well, there's 18 million reasons why they did. But at any rate, Sacramento State gets to come up and be part of the Mid-America Conference. And, it is the state of college football these days. What can I say? So that was a lot of fun. The Hall of Fame was a lot of fun. You can get your picture made, with the Lombardi Trophy and the whole 9 yards. So that was a great day. We went back to my cousin's house that evening and just chilled. Might have been an adult beverage or two. But at any rate, we got up the next morning to make the short trip over to Kent State. And I'm sure most people, not all, I know there's some younger people who might not understand the history of Kent State. And it goes beyond Alabama fans. That's where Nick Saban was created. He was actually from West Virginia, but nevertheless, yes, that's where he went to school. So you had, you've got the history of the National Guard shootings there. And you can go on, they have placards everywhere. You can walk the entire campus and see where everything happens, see where everybody passed away, and get that whole history of it. And it is a beautiful campus. Kent State is a gorgeous campus. It's a cool little town. And it's, it was, if you like history at all, which I love history, it is worth the trip, and it's a cool little town. And then we went to eat at Mike's Place, and I know for the Kent State folks, they're going to be familiar with that. Roger was somewhat familiar with it because he has a family that, and I'm trying to remember whether his daughter or cousin, somebody, forgive me on that one, Roger, that went to Kent State. So we got a little behind the scenes information, but Mike's Place, cool little place. Kind of reminds me of some of the bars that I've been to on the Gulf Coast. It just kind of rambles. It's better. It's bar food, but it's a higher grade of bar food. It's not, you won't regret eating there. And where else can you go and have your picture made with an X-Wing fighter? I mean, there's that. So, and it's not far from a stadium. where we parked was. So it was a little bit of a hike, and we unfortunately parked on the wrong side because we bought tickets the night of the game. But here's the beauty of this. Okay, because I knew the situation with tickets, we waited the last minute to buy tickets for both games. But for Kent State, it really paid off. They were doing a deal where you could buy one, get one free on a Wednesday night. So I'm going to go up there. I'm going to buy 4 tickets. And I was very bundled up and ready to go this night because it was starting off below freezing, but not as windy. So there's some very funny pictures of me waiting in line looking like a homeless person with my, not making fun of homeless people, but this is what I look like with my blanket over my shoulder and a whole 9 yards. Anyhow, so to long story short, I get in line. The guy in front of me buys a ticket and says, "Hey, you need a third ticket. You need an extra ticket." Like, well, I actually have to buy 4, so I'll just go ahead and buy them. And then the guy behind me goes, "Hey, I'm here by myself. I'll give you my extra ticket." So the 4 of us got into the Kent State and Northern Illinois game for $5. Thanks to the hospitality of 2 fine gentlemen from the state of Ohio. So thank you guys for hooking us up there. So we got in. We're sitting pretty low, about 50-yard line. And it's a game where you're going, there was almost no scoring in the first quarter. I'm going, this is very un-MAC-like. So I think the score was 3-0 maybe at the end of the first quarter. And then it opened up. And it was the second half, even the second quarter, it was back and forth the entire ball game. It was like I kept looking at Roger and saying, of course, we're pulling for the home team. So we're pulling for Kent State. And I keep saying, one more touchdown, we got this thing. Well, I probably said that 6 times during the ball game because literally every possession of the second half, it was a score. And it came down to end of the ball game, touchdown, win. Fantastic. Actually ended up being, and this is going to date this for the people who know the Mid-America Conference, actually ended up being a preview of the conference championship game. So, but anyhow, it was a fantastic, quick trip. Flew up on a Monday, came back on a Thursday morning, short flight into Cleveland from Atlanta. It was 2 hours, I think, maybe a little less than that. And then, of course, on the way home, it started snowing. So we woke up to a little lake effect snow coming in the night of the ball game. So it was a fun trip. And I'm just telling you guys, if you are really a college football fan, these things lay themselves out every year. There's 3 to a half dozen to pick from every time. All you got to do is find 2 of the schools that are in close proximity, fly in, a couple games. It's a lot of fun, get you off the beaten path. Kent State, Akron is a great place to start because you're flying into Cleveland and they're both close. And you can work in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and you can work in the NFL Hall of Fame. But there's a ton of them. You got Ball State and you would think it's out there by itself, but it's not that far from Miami of Ohio. You've got the Michigan schools, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, and Central Michigan, all a couple of hours away from each other. You've got Toledo just across the state line from Eastern Michigan, and Toledo and Bowling Green could have a good rock fight themselves. They're right next to each other. Buffalo's a little bit tougher. UMass is going to be a tougher one to go get, and Sacramento State's going to be real tough. That's really not a Tuesday, Wednesday game with anybody else in the Mid-America Conference, if you can believe it. Northern Illinois was already kind of off the beaten path a little bit, so losing them out of the conference for this purpose, not that big a deal. So if you're looking for something, and it's cold, I get it. But you know what? If you're going to go up and experience Midwest football, I don't want to do it in August. I can do that down here. I can experience August football up there in November down here. I don't need to do that trip. So to go up there and experience it when it's something we don't really get a lot of down here, not that we don't get cold games, We do, but not with regularity. Not this cold. It was cold. Bundle up. I'm just saying. Layers, many of them. And but it was a great trip. I want to thank Patty and Roger for hosting us. They were phenomenal, and it was so don't sleep on the Maction, folks. Made one trip, plan on trying to make another one this year. We'll see how the schedules come out. Didn't really work last year to get up there and do one, but I did make it up there because we did Michigan State, which will be our next episode, as I went and visited my uncle in just north of Ann Arbor. That was another fantastic trip. We'll talk about that one on our next episode of the Sports Pilgrimage with James O'Brien here on Stream City Radio. StreamCity.org, Stream City Sports, if you're looking for us on the YouTube.